we really appreciate. I'm talking about some critical situations, and people got on the live and they felt comfortable with putting their story out. But not so much that, it's the people that received from it. It's what they received from that testimony. It's what they're receiving from the messages that we have. So take a look at the links. I also have emailing list and a text messaging list, two separate lists on the link in my bio. The emailing list, you can drop your email. There's a SMS list, a text messaging list. If you drop your phone number, we'll send you an email, a text message when we transition over to YouTube, because we are streaming directly through Instagram and over to YouTube. We're on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, but we're trying to do things different, right? We want to upgrade. We want to give you guys the best experience possible, giving everyone access. Because think about it, YouTube, you don't need an account to have access to YouTube, to watch any video on YouTube, to watch any live on YouTube. And what we're trying to do is really reach as far as possible. We're trying to reach as many lives as possible to continue to make sure that everyone out there is doing great mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Just in general, we want to make sure that you're doing okay. This is the main purpose. It's our purpose. This is the main purpose of what we got going on. So check out the links. I do have another link. You can always feel free to drop donations. Show your appreciation. Again, you're not obligated to do so, but it's always welcome to receive those donations. So take a look. I do have my YouTube channel once again. Please go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Pastor Carlos and I. You'll see it under Joaquin and Carlos Untitled Project, because we're still coming up with a name. We're waiting to receive a name. Again, it's no rush. And we're not waiting on a name to give you all these blessings on the live. As you can see, this is episode 58. It's been quite a journey, and we're not planning on stopping. Not at all. Not at all. Let's see. Just giving it a few more minutes for others to join. I see a message here. Hello, God bless all. Leslie, what's up? What's up? God bless you. Thank you for joining, as always. There we go. Oh, seems like we're having issues with Pastor Carlos' connection on his end. All right, he got disconnected. In the meantime, while we go ahead and open up today's episode, I want to go ahead and as we all know, Randy Gonzalez, the father of TikTok duo Enki Boys, dies of colon cancer, which is extremely tragic at such a young age to go due to cancer. And I feel like it's an issue that we've been having recently, in the most recent years. It's been really tragic what's been happening. Usually the older you are, the more of a chance of having serious conditions. But now it seems to lower the age, right? The risk, it don't matter how young or how old you are, no one is exempt from such a serious illness. And, I just learned about Randy Gonzalez, to be honest, because I know he passed, I believe it was Wednesday. But he touched many lives with all he's been doing or was doing on TikTok along with his family. Amazing, making people laugh, being such a great example that, it is great to be a father. You should always be a part of your child's life, no matter what the situation is. And he always made the best out of any situation. Now, what amazes me is, as I was looking through videos, he had the condition for quite some time, and he didn't stop making those TikTok videos. He didn't stop pushing for his son to be on TV shows. Getting him to go and enjoy his life. He wasn't letting a condition hold him back. Which is really sad, man. At 35 years old, to go out so young due to cancer is really sad, and it really worries me, because that can be me, that can be you. And we're going to get a little more deep into it, basically what we've been discussing briefly in multiple episodes on how we should view life, right? Our perspective, our mindset, because we all know life ain't perfect. We all know that we have tons of responsibilities. Life is not easy at all. We go through hardships, we go through obstacles, but the main thing is how we execute, how we push through these obstacles. The main thing is, what do we do to improve ourselves, to improve our life, our quality of life, right? And avoiding being or let down by the obstacles that present themselves, right? The issues that we come across. Let me try and go ahead and have Pastor Carlos come in. I received his notification. Thank you for everyone who's been joining in. Just give us some time. We're going to get Pastor Carlos on. I want to thank everyone on Facebook, YouTube as well, who are watching us. Seems like we're having issues. Let's see. I apologize, everyone. Let's take a look.
Yeah, had to restart the phone, bro.
There
Something
we
was
go. I
acting
think we
up.
got
Had
you
to
on,
go ahead and
Pastor Carlos.
restart
Can
it.
you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a blessing to be
Got
with
it.
everybody.
Okay.
I did catch the
Okay.
beginning of what you were saying in terms of the TikToker, man. It's wild out there. Yep. Crazy, bro. Crazy.
Randy Gonzalez, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I was just mentioning how, we never know what another person's going through unless obviously they put it out there. He was obviously making videos while he was going through that whole process. And then, he passes Wednesday, and I'm sure, he was a huge part of his family's life, especially,
I think so. I
I
think
mean,
so.
Father of the Yankee Boys, they were in a TV show, right? Lopez versus Lopez, if I'm not mistaken. And again, I was very honest. I didn't really know much because I'm usually not on TikTok, and I'm now uh, getting a little more familiar with TikTok because of, future purposes of where I'm taking the brand and stuff. But I was just looking through his videos, man, and it's truly sad. You can actually tell the difference, like, when he was in the
Right.
different stages, and pretty much in his final stage. And we've seen other people who's gone through the same condition, and it's really sad because you never know when it's our time to go. You just never know. And what I was mentioning a little bit towards the end, right before I tried connecting you, getting you on, is that life is not easy at all, and we all have tons of responsibilities. We have a lot going on. There's a lot of people going through it right now, whether it's financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever the case is, and they're not really appreciating what they have, right? They're not practicing gratitude as often as they should. And it's moments like these, like Randy Gonzalez and so many that have passed so young, and again, not even so much about the age, but it hits harder when you're younger, because it's like, man, you thought that the older you get, the more at risk you are. Nowadays, you just don't know. You may be in your 20s, maybe even in your teens, but you can get hit with a condition at any point in your life. And what then? Are you going to be stressing whatever it is that you're stressing today? Are you going to be giving so much of your
Facts.
attention to the things that you shouldn't be giving attention to or stressing over. You know, this is what I want to talk about today. You know, today was going to be more of a open discussion, but I want it to be an open
No,
discussion, but
absolutely. And
directly
and at
to
the end of the day,
perspective
that
and
same illness
mindset.
that took his life is the
Perspective
same one that took the
and
life
mindset.
of Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther. And like you said, here's this dude, here's this dude doing these TikTok videos, and you're like, okay,
I'm
well, this is somebody
glad you brought that up.
that who knows? I mean, in terms of like how successful they are with everything like that. Who knows how much they're making? Maybe even though they're influential on TikTok, you don't know how much they're making. But you can go the flip side, and you can go someone like Chadwick Boseman, who just like this dude was suffering in the background, still doing things, I mean, still making movies and doing all these, different scenes and stunts and all this other stuff. Nobody knew what was happening in the background, right? And this is somebody who's got access to top level care. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely top level care. And that, at the end of the day, did not matter. You can go we're talking here's somebody who I believe he was in his late 30s. I believe Chadwick Boseman was in his late 30s, but we've also heard of people that are not famous, just people,
Yeah,
that are just everyday people. I mean, you gave me one the other day that is like,
of course.
here's this woman who's also young, near the same age, and it's like now she's dealing with it. So it's like, who knows what, God willing,
Yeah,
there's healing there in Jesus' name, but you have no guarantees. And then you can go a little bit older, but still considered to be young for the time that he was taking as well. You can go and take somebody like a great example, Steve Jobs, who died of pancreatic cancer, and here's somebody, when you're talking about somebody that's got the money for the highest level of
yep,
care, you know what I'm saying? He had the money for the highest level of care. He was one of the richest people on the planet at that point in time.
yeah,
Extremely influential. I mean, anything that could have been available to him would have been available to him. But there comes things that it's like, you know, it does not matter what your status is. It does not matter what your finances are like. Absolutely none of that has any weight, holds any weight. Um, there will come a time in which, and this is not just for illness. Sometimes this can be for any kind of situation, right? It could be that you're in such a point of distress in your marriage, or such a point of distress with your kids, or such a point of distress in your finances, or such a point of distress, with maybe you lack food in your house, or whatever it is. It could be anything that you're just kind of like at the point where it's like, yo, there is no way out. I have no other out. There's nothing that at this point can go ahead and save my situation, right? Everybody's got a breaking point where you're like, yo, there's nothing else. There's no other option. And this is the moment in which it's like, yo, you know what? There comes to be a point where you may need to have that come to Jesus moment, because you'll come to realize there ain't nobody else but Jesus Christ that could go ahead and help your situation. Um, you'll come to realize that literally it's in God's hands and not in yours. Just saying. And you can't be, this is why I stress so much, especially here in the last 2 or 3 years, that, yo, if you're looking to get right, you better get right now. I'm just saying, you better get right now, because there is no limitation in terms of when you can go by your wealth, by your status, by your age. There is no limitation. No limitation. And I think for a lot of people, I use this one as an example. The Lord gave me that message, I think, right before Kobe Bryant had the accident. You know what I'm saying? The helicopter crash. The Lord gave me that message for our youth, and I preached that message. And like a week later, there's Kobe in the helicopter crash with who? With his daughter, who was their age. There was no limitation in terms of the age. You don't know when it's your time to go. You know what I'm saying? So to be like, oh, uh, I got time. When I get right, man, that's the biggest lie the enemy has for you. And a lot of people are falling for the lie when all he wants is for you to, to have a relationship now. You don't have time to get right. You don't know what your timing is. You don't have any to guess on, do I have time to make this right and do, and change things or whatever. If you believe that you got to get to a certain level or you got to start quitting certain things, like you got to do it yourself, let me tell you, that's going to be in vain, because at the end of the day, whatever it is that has you captured, whatever it is that has you in a mental prison, physical prison, health prison, whatever it is going to continue to hold you in that prison and going to continue to have you making excuses 100%. Because sometimes the one that needs to take you out of that prison and make it all right is Jesus. There ain't no other way to put it. God is the one that's going to save you from that. God is going to be the one to help you from stressing. God is going to be the one to help you from your addiction. God is going to help you to be the one that stops, being violent. God is going to be the one that's going to help you stop cheating on your wife. God is going to be the one that's going to help you to be a better parent. God is going to be the one to help you to deal with the coworker at work that you feel like smacking because they don't act right. God is going to be the one to go ahead and help you with that. But you have to make the decision to be like, I cannot do this on my own. And I'm going to realize that I'm never going to be perfect. I'm never going to get to a level of perfection in which I believe that I am now at a level where the Lord is going to want to use me and the Lord is going to deal with me and the Lord is going to want a relationship with me when all he's telling you is, yo, I want a relationship right now. Because it's not about you being perfect. It's about me using imperfect people so that I can show my strength in your weakness. But you're thinking that you need to be strong in order for him to show his strength. What strong person needs to go ahead and show that they're strong by having, yo, I'm going to show that you're strong by me being strong first. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? That makes absolutely zero sense. I'm going to give you a perfect example.
Thank you, Leslie.
Do you go to a gym and sign up with a personal trainer when you got like 1% body fat and you got a perfect physique and your stamina is where it needs to be and your health is where it needs to be? Do you go get a personal trainer at that point? Go hire a personal trainer when you're 100% fit, and I guarantee you're going to look like a fool unless you're training for the Olympics or some sort of, athletic competition where that person is going to help you to refine the skill. But when we're talking about just your everyday person, nobody hires a personal trainer after they've already gotten it down. They hire the personal trainer when they realize that they need the help so that they can start getting the technique down, so that they can start getting the routine down, so that they can start getting everything where it needs to be, so they can start practicing the way that they need to practice and start getting rid of the bad habits with somebody that's going to spot them. Nobody gets the personal trainer after because you look dumb. And it's the same thing with the Lord. He's here to say, yo, in your weakness, I'm going to show my strength. And you're like, hold up, let me get strong first. Who gets the credit if you already strong? There you are getting the credit yourself. But you're here thinking you got all the time in the world, and you don't. You might. But do you take your chances on that? Or do you do you go into it like, yo, I don't know what tomorrow holds, but let me not run the risk. And we got a lot of people that run the risk. And some of those people call themselves Christians too, by the way. This is not just talking about people that haven't received Christ. These are people that live the way that they want, don't want to let the Lord, work with them at all. They just did a little prayer and they think that I just did the little prayer. I don't got to change anything. I can continue to do everything that I want without the Lord being involved. I know he's going to forgive me no matter what I'm doing. So I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. That's not, if you feel, if you feel that you feel like convicted or offended by that, you might want to go and look at this and be like, yo, why do I feel convicted and offended? Because maybe the Lord is trying to show me, yo, you're not where you need to be. This is, you're on paper saying that you believe in me, but you haven't accepted me. So this is for believers and non-believers alike. You might be having a come to Jesus moment right now, thinking that I got time to get right. I got time to walk in relationship with the Lord and not just be on paper claiming to be something that I'm not. You don't know. So if that's the kind of lifestyle that you're living and you feel like this is talking to you, believe me, that might not just be in that area, but there might be a lot of other things in your life that you feel you need to change. And you think, I got time to get it right. I got time to do better for my kids too. I got time to leave a legacy. Who says who?
And that's that's I want to go ahead and run off because you said it already 3 times.
Exactly, bro.
How people think they have a whole life ahead of them, and for those who are listening, and I'm hoping that we do have youth or the youth that are eventually going to listen to this episode. And it's normal. It's okay to think that you have a whole life ahead of you. In fact, you should always, in many ways, treat life as if you do have a whole life ahead of you. But in other ways, you should actually live as if tomorrow may be your last. How can I break that down to make sure that I don't cause any confusion, right? Or contradiction? Mentally, you have to be strong and know that you're going to be here for a very long time, right? Especially with your purpose. You want to make changes in this world. You want to do right by others. You want to do good to the world, right? For the people, for yourself, for your family, for those who are involved with you, just in general. But if you have any goals that you want to accomplish, go for it as if you'll be gone tomorrow, right? You got to fight through. You got to try and make it happen. Whatever that goal is, career development, if it's entrepreneurship, if it's personal development, business development, whatever that is, make it happen as if tomorrow's your last day. But so we can continue to do great in this world and good for people, we have to think to ourselves, I'm going to be here for as long as God permits. I'm going to be here because I know the people need me. I know people are counting on me. I know people are cheering for me. I know that I'm doing right in this world. I know that I can change this world. I can change perspectives, mindsets, the people's lives. I can save lives, right? When we're talking about that, just know that you're going to be on earth for a very long time. But the day God calls you, there's nothing we can do about it. You're called. But in the meantime, you're called to do what you're destined to do here on this earth. And just remember, continue to fight through, right? Don't let that situation that you're in hold you back from your blessing. There's a lot of things that people are holding back on, right? They're holding back because of grudges, because of anger, because of betrayal, because of things that they're going through. But let me ask you a question. What if you knew that you're in your final days? Let's just say that Monday is your last day. How are you going to view the world? How are you going to view your life? How are you going to view other people? How are you going to behave and go about whatever it is that you have in you in the next few days?
Real.
Are you going to forgive people? Are you going to have that conversation? Are you going to clarify? Are you going to clear things up? Things that may be a misunderstanding, things that may have been misinterpreted. Are you going to make that different? Are you going to take the time and say, hey, I can't leave this person with confusion, or I can't leave this person with these cloudy thoughts, or I can't leave without forgiving this person or apologizing to this person, because it's right around the corner. So you don't want to leave anyone in pain on this earth directly. Maybe there's something that you've been wanting to do, but you've been so afraid because you're ashamed, because you're shy, because you're not confident. Who knows? Because your last day is Monday.
Thanks.
You may build the confidence you wish you had all this time, Because now you're not afraid to do things because you're not even looking at the shame. You're not even looking at the lack of confidence. You're looking at my last day here on earth is Monday. So now I'm going to do everything possible to make things different, to make things right. And guess what? Your last day doesn't have to be Monday. But you know what? The BS can be the last day, Monday. Monday moving forward, this is what I do. This is the goals that I have. This is the people that I want to forgive. This is the people that I want to apologize to. This is the path that I want to open. This is what I want to start doing. This is what I've been afraid of. Let me move the fear away. Let me move it aside. Let me set it aside and do exactly what I'm meant to do. One thing that I got to say, I was afraid of public speaking, of speaking in the public, of speaking in front of a camera. Speaking in front of a camera. But guess what? In my toughest time, my hardest times, it wasn't even the right time to start this platform. Pastor Carlos and I discussed. We spoke about it. And we made it happen regardless. So make a long story short. Because sometimes I've been the type in the past that I have to wait for the right time to do it, to get it done. And those days are over. Because I've been through so many situations in my life, and I'm not the first and last, and I'm not the only one, and I'm fully aware.
I'll even go a step further, little bro. I'll even go a step further. You know, when you're talking about all of that, right? Sometimes, you know, for example, you look at these people that pass, and you made a perfect point, right? In terms of the dude, the TikToker that died, you talked about like, man, he was making these videos and like still kind of like doing his thing, knowing what it was. You know, people are impacted by the fact that this person was doing that, knowing that, like, yo, this is it, you know, that was still fighting through it, but still doing that. Or people looked at Chadwick Boseman and like, yo, I can't believe that this dude was filming these movies and going and doing these speeches and all this different, you know, all these different things, knowing that this was probably going to be the end. And it was like, it left a lasting impression that he did it, that he was doing that. Why? Because, yeah.
And remember, I'm sorry to interrupt real quick, Big Bro, so you can continue. Remember that interview when they were asking him about, so talk to me about Black Panther 2. He's like, no, I'm already dead. No one got that.
So, you know,
his day came.
So it's like, that's what I'm talking about. People, you know, people look at these things and it's like, those leave lasting impressions. So that's something that you got to think about, even if it's not the end, right? If it happened to be, people are going to remember like, yo, there's that change. And the other thing is that like, in terms of the forgiveness, right? If you don't forgive and you got a beef with somebody and you didn't forgive or y'all didn't squash it, number one, you're going to deal with that. That's going to be something between you and the Lord. The fact that you couldn't forgive, that's now on you, right? Because the Lord talks about essentially like, I forgave, like, you know, what are you doing not forgiving, right? That's something that you got to go ahead and you're going to have to take that up with him first and foremost. But on the flip side, whether you believe or not, do you want that person carrying on their lifetime worth of guilt that y'all couldn't squash it? I've seen so many people that after the person passed is like, man, we fought over something so dumb and I wish that my boy was still with me, or I wish that this person was still with me. I can't believe that we didn't talk for 3, 4, 5 years over something so petty. It wasn't petty to you when they were alive, but it's petty to you now that they're done, because you carrying on this guilt because you didn't squash it. You know what I'm saying? And when we're talking about like going and dying each day, I feel that like the Lord is showing me that like, yo, you know what? You are supposed to be dying every day. You're supposed to be dying every day more and more, because you're supposed to be dying as to who you are so that you can go ahead and have that eternal life with me and have that transformation. You're dying so that I live in you. You know what I'm saying? We should be dying every day, and in that dying be like, I'm dying because here's this change that I'm making, that the Lord is doing in me. You feel me? And a lot of people are not doing that.
Meaning, just to clarify.
Exactly.
You
Every
are
day
who
you're
you
dying
are
more
today
and
who you
more
weren't
to
yesterday,
not be who
basically,
you
right?
were
It's always
and
a
be who
change
you've been
and
called to be.
improvement.
And you're letting the old you die so that the new you each day resurrects. It's somebody different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need
Yeah.
people on the
This
live to
ain't
think
this
that
ain't
we'll
Call of
be
Duty, fam.
respawning,
Like
you
we
know,
not doing no
like
respawns.
Fortnite and stuff like that. Yeah, so but yeah, no, no, it's major. It's major, you know, and again, we don't want to leave this earth and have other people carry our weight, you know, things that you can actually uh make different, you know. There's a lot of people out there going through. There's a lot of people where their pride are in the way, you know, and they got to set that aside, man. Eliminate that. It's time to face it. And you know what? Yeah, that person's not going to listen. This person is ignorant. Let that person be. Be you. Worry about you. Worry about you trying to communicate with that person. Worry about you trying to change the situation around. Worry about you making it happen. And if the other person wants to go ahead and receive or accept, great. But if they don't, at least you try. At least you try, right? Two wrongs don't make a right. So because someone is ignorant or if someone's not having it, then that doesn't give you the
That's right.
pass like, oh, all right, well, no, you have to try. Approach. You be the one to approach, you know, and I've been in situations in the past where I had to be the one to approach, right? There's situations where I haven't even been able to apologize to a person because I've had no communication. But best believe the day that that opportunity presents itself, or if I ever get the opportunity to discuss any issues, I'll be more than happy to do so. Is it going to be easy? Of course not. But nothing is going to hold me back, and it's not going to be pride. It's not going to be pride. It's not going to be any of that because I know I want to come clean, right? And even if it's the
That's
other
right.
person who did the damage, I'm still wanting
That's
to
right.
have that communication because there's so much that can be fixed by it. It's not only about what you've done. It's not what you've done to
Exactly.
other people. It's also what other people have done to you. We have to know that this world is not perfect. No one is perfect. You're not even perfect. But it's very easy for us to make the mistake and
Yep.
for us to understand our mistakes, but not understand the next person's mistake, not understand why they behaved a certain way, not understand why they react a certain way. Remember, we all think different. Every mind has a whole different world because of their perspective, because of your perspective. But there are people out there who have similar ways of thinking, similar ways of seeing this life and their own and how they think or speak on others.
Facts, bro.
Everyone's
And on top
individually
of that, there's scripture
different.
that backs it up because there's scripture that tells
We
you,
gotta understand.
to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, right? So, exactly, check it out, bro. When it talks about deal
I
with your
gotta
own
hit the
salvation
Bible,
with fear
man.
and trembling, right?
I
So essentially that means you deal with what you can deal with. You don't need to worry about nobody else. And we've talked about that kind of scripture before. A few weeks ago, we mentioned like essentially like, how people biblically were given instruction on like, yo, deal with your own stuff because people are going to see how you're living. People are going to see how you're doing things. And they're going to be like, that's going to be the example that they need in order to have that transformation because you are the example. You're working out your own salvation. And as a result, they look at things. So I want you to look at this. If somebody did you wrong, or maybe y'all both did each other wrong or whatever, just as a great example, right? It does not matter that they don't want to accept it. You work out your own thing. You deal with that. Guess what? Tomorrow the Lord takes you. That's not something that you're dealing with because that now falls on the other person. The other person is the one that didn't want to receive. But at the end of the day, if you go, let's say that you're still here and you go and you forgive, you do what you're supposed to do, right? Because even the word says itself, essentially stop comparing each other's sins because why? You need to stop looking about the speck in your brother's eye when you have an entire log in your own eye. Essentially, it's all a matter of perspective. My issue seems small, yours seems huge, but in reality, that person might be like, yo, what I'm dealing with is minor, and your issue is much bigger than mine. You hit the nail on the head. It's your own perspective. Let's stop pointing the finger. Deal with what you can deal with, because at the end of the day, whenever the Lord chooses to take you, if you didn't if you didn't deal with something that you were supposed to deal with, like let's say forgiveness, right? You didn't forgive. What's going to happen when you get there? It's not gonna be like, well, you know what? So and so didn't forgive, so it was okay that you didn't. It's gonna be like, no, why didn't you forgive it? You were supposed to deal with your own stuff, you know? Why didn't you do it? Or why didn't you make this change? It's gonna sound ridiculous when you're like, nah, but I didn't do it because, I mean, I knew that they weren't gonna want to hear my stuff. Stop it. Stop that. It's the same thing with bettering yourself overall. Like, what are you doing that like you're choosing to make your own decisions about how you deal with stuff based on what somebody else is doing? That doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, go ahead, little bro.
And you know what?
No, I mean, at
No,
the
no,
end
go
of the
ahead.
day,
Finish,
it's like,
finish up.
if just bringing
Hold that
things
thought.
in just with certain biblical examples and stuff like that. I just think of it this way, right? Jesus paid the price. We all talk about like Jesus paid the price. Jesus paid the price, right? If you had a bill to pay and you're responsible for paying it, you're responsible for taking care of that, and you choose not to, do you go and say, yo, Joaquin, why didn't you pay my bill? No, because that's my responsibility, not yours. It would be foolish of me to be like, oh, I didn't pay my bill because Joaquin should have paid my bill. You deal with your own stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now, Jesus paid it all. I'm not saying that you got to work for your salvation, but what I'm saying is we all got to deal with our own stuff. That's what we've been called to do. So what are we doing? Trying to act like I don't got to do nothing, you know? What I'm going to do is going to be based on what somebody else decides for me, you know? That makes no sense, bro. It makes no sense. But a lot of us are living that way.
Yeah, and I wanted to add on to that because, we got to be careful with the influence. We've mentioned this briefly in multiple episodes, how we have to be extremely careful with the influence, the people that we are around, right? The people that we stay in touch with, the people that we discuss anything in general, anything that has to do with us. We have to be very careful because remember, you have a perspective, right? You have a way of thinking, and that other person that you keep around may be thinking just like you or
Absolutely.
different. And what you're receiving from that person can influence you into turning or responding a certain way, which is we are really made up of whatever we learn growing up. And that comes from directly from our parents, right? A parent, a family member, a friend, an associate, a colleague at work, right? A coworker. We're easily influenced, right? So we have a little bit of everything that we've been receiving, everything that we've been around. So we have to be very careful. Why? We've learned the hard way that there's certain advice that we've received from certain people that weren't right. And that's okay because, you can't feel guilty about it, but we can actually learn from it, right? We can learn from it. This is where forgiveness comes. If you have the opportunity to forgive for the way you responded, the way you reacted, the way you're behaving, the way you came off that day, it wasn't right. And I can't believe I went by what this person was telling me to do. It's okay because you're not perfect. You're not perfect. You're learning. Now, guess what? You've learned what's right, what's wrong, or what to do, what not to do. And you can go ahead and teach the next person. But you can also teach that person that you did wrong or who did you wrong, that you can always make it different. It's okay to forgive. It's okay to discuss and understand each other, regardless of who was wrong or right, regardless of who was wrong or right. And then from there on, you let God control that situation. Either you're going to build a stronger relationship with that person, or you're going to make amends. You're going to heal. You're going to fix things, and you go your separate ways. But guess what? No one's broken anymore. Now they're finally healed. They finally figured it out. You know, you made the situation better, or that other person, but at least you made it different. And if so many people would focus more on breaking down a situation and admitting or accepting the wrong, the right, it would make this world a different place. It would make so many situations so much different, right? Because again, remember, you're either going to build a stronger relationship or you're just going to go your separate ways. Again, that can be a friendship, relationship, just in general, even family. That'll make a family much stronger. Communication. This is why communication is very important. It's very important for you to discuss, to talk it out. It's very important to talk it out. How many of us who are listening in, drop a hand, a heart in the chat if you grew up and you were told, oh no, don't discuss your problems. If that person did you wrong, you got to cut them off and just leave it there. In a way they may be right. But how to go about it was the wrong. Because what you're doing is you're causing damage, right? You're burning bridges, however you want to put it. But there's no healing. There's no understanding. So now guess what? Whatever happened between you and that person or that group,
Thanks.
the same thing's going to happen moving forward if you don't learn from that situation. Now, there's a lot of things that we have to reverse. What we've been told, what we've been seeing growing up, it's been inevitable, like what other people had to go through, let's say domestic violence, abuse of many kinds, you name it. People go through different situations. But at the end, you have to know how to go about it. And if you don't know, you're going to learn along the way, eventually. Now, if you're the type of person where you love to see people hurt, or you love to be the one on top, like, hey, listen, I'm not losing this fight. I'm not losing this battle. I'm not losing this discussion or this debate. It's not about winning or losing. It's about understanding. I'm guilty of this. Growing up, I was all about, no, this person isn't right. If I'm not right, there's nothing right about the situation. If I'm not right, then, the other person isn't right at all. No. All I thought was, I see it my way, and this is the way that it is. And it took me a while to fix that. It took me a while. In fact, I fixed it a long time ago, but the most recent years was when I actually got a full grasp of that perspective, of that behavior, of that mindset. I got a full grasp, and I was able to break it down, break it up, and throw away the most toxic. This person isn't right. If I'm not right, the most toxic right about this whatever situation. Caused if I'm not right, problems, then I was able to throw that out right to change. Let me just say, to change that, because we got to go about it different. It's not only about how I feel, the way that it is. About, let me just say, to change that, because we got to go about it different. It's not only about how I feel. I got to only about. Let me just say, to change that, because we got to go about it different. It's not only about how I feel. I got to only about. Let me just say, to change that, because we got to go about it different. It's not only about how I feel. I got to only about. Let me just say, to change that, because we got to go about the other person the same way. I got to only about. Let me just say, you have to change that, because we got to go about the other person the same way. You gotta you have to change this now. You gotta go about the other person the same way. You gotta you have to change this now. You gotta go about the other person the same way. You gotta you have to change this now. You gotta go about the other person the same way. You gotta you have to change this now. You gotta go about the other person the same way. You gotta you have to change this now. You gotta go about the other person the same way. You gotta you have to change this now. You gotta go about the other person the same way. You gotta you have to change this now. So you have to change. You have to change. So you have to change. You have to stop. You have to change. So you have to stop. You have to change. So you have to stop. You have to change. So you have to stop. You have to change. So you have to stop. You have to stop.